Okay, good morning to you, wonderful people. It is 23 minutes before 8 o'clock. Apologies that we're starting sports band behind schedule this morning. Yes, we need to pay some bills, but we're back this morning. It's a wonderful, wonderful Wednesday. The midweek edition of the program Sports Bang is right here on this day, 19th of May, year 2021. My name is Tunde Olawuwo, and of course, you're listening to Splash 105.5 FM. We're broadcasting from the White House building in Felele, right here in the city of Ibadan. Faith Adedeji is here with me this morning. Shortly, you will definitely be hearing his voice. But to start off, quick one from the world of table tennis. The 2021 Nigerian Table Tennis Federation National Championship will serve over at the Molade Okoya Thomas Hall of the Teslim Balogun Stadium. The 5-day tournament will serve as a test for home-based players with 4.5 million naira up for grabs in 12 events. It is also open for professionals and veterans above the age of 50. Players will compete for honors in the men's and women's categories of the team, singles, doubles, mixed doubles, under 21, cadet and veteran singles above 50. According to the breakdown of the prize money, that is the 4.5 million naira, winners in men's and women's singles event will earn 250,000 naira each, while on the 21 and cadet championships will take home 100,000 naira and 50,000 naira. Also, winners in team and doubles events will get 200,000 naira and 100,000, with quarterfinalists in each event earning a minimum of 50,000 naira. At the press briefing to around the commencement of the tournament, the director of the tournament, Tayo Adesoji, said the aim of the event was to continue the momentum which started from the 20th National Sports Festival to the concluded 14th ASO Cup held in Abuja. The 5-day championship will end this Saturday, the 22nd of May. Mr. Adesoji, who is the former technical director of NTTF, charged the players to conduct themselves in the best possible manner as the federation is poised to unearth more arena quadris in the near future. Lagos are doing great again. This one is actually serving of today in Lagos. So if you're somewhere close to the center of excellence, you can catch a glimpse of that. Meanwhile, the Confederation of African Football CAF has announced the president of NFF, that is the Nigerian Football Federation, Amaju Pinnick, as a member of the organizing committee of the 2022 African Cup of Nations. The appointment follows a proposal by CAF President Patrice Motsepe to then CAF Emergency Committee, who forwarded the names to the Executive Committee for ratification. CAF President Motsepe will lead the committee with two Vice Presidents, Augustine Emmanuel Senghor, President of the Senegalese Football Federation, and Amaju Pinnick, President of the Nigerian Football Federation. Other committees include Organizing Committee of the Inter-Club Competitions and Club Licensing, which will be chaired by Ahmed Yaya, second CAF Vice President and Mauritania Football President Macklin Lechwiti of Botswana, and Jibrila Amidu of Nigeria Football Federation. They have all been appointed as vice president in this regard. The youth football will be overseen by the third CAF Vice President and President of Djibouti Federation, Suleiman Waberi. It will be supported by Vice President Pierre Alain Mugwegi from Gabon and Mustafa Isholaraji from Liberia. In women's football, Isha Johnson of Sierra Leone passes the torch of the presidency to Kanizat Ibrahim of Comoros. However, the SLFA president, who is also a member of the FIFA Council, continues our mission as vice president of the committee. It's still Sports Bang. Remember, this morning you can catch us live this morning on our Facebook fan page, Splash 105.5 FM. If you're not yet a friend of Splash, just visit www.facebook.com/Splash 105.5 FM. Is something about to happen, let me put it that way, to the all-important fight between Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua. Remember, Deontay Wilder is somewhere around the corner. A judge in the United States of America has actually ruled that it's meant to be a trilogy, that is between Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury, and another fight should happen on the 15th of September. So, what are the possibilities? Remember, for Joshua and Fury, they already scheduled August 14. Will it be possible for Tyson Fury to fight Deontay Wilder just about 1 month later? Or is there some possibilities of settlement for Deontay Wilder to keep him aside? We'll wait to see what happens. Chelsea, they bounced back yesterday against Leicester City. If there is anything called revenge in the world of football, it was sweet yesterday. Faith Adedeji, good morning to you. How are you?
Yeah, good morning, Tunde. Good morning, Ibadan. It's another wonderful Wednesday morning, and it's time for Sports Bank. And you viewed out so many things. Maybe you've even talked about so many things. I don't even know which one of them to pick it up from.
Let's start with Anthony Joshua.
Okay, yeah, that is a big one. The big fight we've all been looking out for. You've talked about the fact that Deontay Wilder remains a stumbling block in us having that undisputed heavyweight fight. He remains. The whole arbitration surrounding that fight is now a big problem because Deontay Wilder, you understand why he's also looking at getting that trilogy, because that was what was signed initially, undoubtedly, and he's maybe fighting for his right now, claiming what rightly belongs to him. Undoubtedly, he wants it, and he feels he deserves it. He should get it. But right now, maybe
in your opinion, does he really deserve it? I mean, aside from what the judge has ruled.
But then
you fought the first one. It ended in a controversial draw. A lot of believe
it ended in a draw.
Well, it ended in a draw. The judges ruled a draw, even though some of us felt maybe Tyson Fury edged him.
He knocked down Fury in that first fight.
No, I mean, you can knock me down 10 times as long as I can stand up before the count of 10 and I'm able to finish the fight. The game and don't forget that he was fighting at home.
Yeah.
And then the second one, there was no doubt about the one. Should he get the third one?
The contract.
I know this is contract.
That's the problem. Contracts are binding.
Okay, let's take out the contract. Let's go to the streets. When you were maybe in secondary school, if somebody beat you up 1.5 times, do you think you deserve a third fight?
You don't. If you had to look at it, you probably would say that it doesn't deserve it. But then it is what it is. I think it will be down to the money for him. Now he's looking at, he has talked about getting $20 million for him to forfeit that fight, or for him to let them go ahead with the fight and all that. The problem with that is it continues to delay the big fight. If he goes ahead having that fight against Deontay Wilder, it means that Joshua will probably have to fight his mandatory challenger in the WBO category, talking about Alexander Usyk, and that becomes a problem because either of them can lose any of their belts along the line, and then
the Saudi prince will no longer be willing to put $100 million down to host them in Saudi Arabia again.
Yes, because it will no longer be an undisputed heavyweight fight. It will just be maybe a fight for one or two belts, depending on which one of them must have lost their belts along the line. So that makes it a big problem, because the earlier, the better. We want someone to unify that heavyweight category. We want someone to hold all the belts.
But let's look at it from the positive angle. Let's say, now this happens that Tyson Fury must mandatorily fight Deontay Wilder, and he gets to beat him, retains his title. Joshua beats Usyk. Maybe that $100 million could become a $200 million fight.
Yeah, it might become bigger then, because but you also look at the angle that they are also no longer getting, they are not getting younger if we look at it from that angle too. Because if they should have that fight, maybe we'll not be having it until sometime in 2022. And you'll be looking at the fact that time is no longer on the side of both guys and all that. So it becomes a big problem. But for me, maybe if the Saudi prince wants us to have that fight, then he should talk to Deontay Wilder and maybe pay Deontay Wilder a huge sum for him to let go of that fight, for us to have the big fight. I'm sure Britons want to see it. They want to see their boys, in quotes now. Not necessarily in quotes, they are their boys, talking about Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua. They want to see both of them and all that. So that becomes another angle to that fight. But for me, I want to see Joshua defeat whichever one of them comes. If Wilder gets to beat up Tyson Fury in the third fight, then he should come along with the WBC belt. All I want is Joshua holding the 4 prestigious belts: the IBF, the WBO, the WB, and the WBC title.
As the undisputed champion. Okay, maybe you should put $20 million, send it to Deontay Wilder, and he steps aside. Not
you should send his account details.
To?
You should just send it.
Okay, that's quite interesting. Okay, we're back to tennis, but this time around, the one on the long lane, not the table tennis. Serena Williams' preparations for the French Open were dented by another early exit on clay, with the top seed losing to Katerina Siniakova in Parma. The American was beaten 7-6, 7-4, 6-2 by the Czech world number 68 in round 2 of the Emilia-Romagna Open. Williams had accepted the white card into the tournament after a defeat in her opener at the Italian Open last week. The 39-year-old has less than 2 weeks to sharpen a game on clay before the start of the French Open on the 30th Sunday of this month of May. She's not scheduled to compete in any other event before Roland Garros, where she will be chasing a record equaling, maybe I'll say elusive, 24th Grand Slam singles title. She's been on this for almost 4 years right now, trying to match Margaret Court on this one. Let's hope that she will be fit enough and strong enough to beat off.
I believe she should take one more event, maybe the Strasbourg event that is also coming up. She should go in get the wild card entry into that one and get that proper preparation, because she's not done so well since the long layoff now. Remember, she got knocked out by someone 15 years younger about 3 weeks.
Not just someone. Tell us.
So you look at all those, stumbling blocks she's been facing in recent times. If she goes into the French Open with this kind of form, then I think it will remain elusive. She's gotten to 3 finals in the course of the last 3 or 4 years now that she's been trying to get that 24th Grand Slam title. We'll continue to root for her. Hopefully she'll be able to do it. But if she doesn't do it, it takes nothing away from her legacy.
Okay, let's talk about this guy, Karim Benzema. How often do you get to tell this kind of stories? After almost 6 years in international wilderness, is back to the French national team squad, and all things being equal, he definitely will be joining them for the Euros. Remember, they are the defending world champions. They want to do what they did in 98, 2000, where they won both the World Cup and, of course, the Euros that happened in 2000. Real Madrid striker Karim Benzema has been named in France's 26-man squad for this summer's European Championship after an absence of nearly 6 years. He has not played for his country since 2015 as a result of his alleged involvement in an attempted blackmail case involving an ex-France teammate, that is Martin Verbuena. Benzema missed France's Euro 2016 campaign and 2018 World Cup win as a result of the allegations. In January 2021, French prosecutors announced Benzema will face a trial later this year. But it seems Didier Deschamps is not having any of that. This guy is red hot for Real Madrid, and he wants him back, in his squad. But could this be a question of them not having what I would say a reliable point man at this point? They have so many fantastic forward players, but who is that number 9? Who is operating at the level of Karim Benzema as we speak?
That could be, one of the huge pointers in the direction of getting Benzema back, because we remember Giroud led the line at the 2018 World Cup. But then the Giroud they've had this season, he's not had so many minutes under his belt. You look at that as another problem. Of course, Giroud still got into the team. They have Mbappe, obviously. They have Griezmann. They have Ben Yedder, who has also been doing so well over there in the French league and all that. But Benzema, none of them will still bring the kind of elegance that Benzema will bring to you up front as a centre forward.
Mbappe is not so much number 9.
A number 9, as a centre forward, Benzema, he epitomizes the modern day number 9. Elegance, beautiful first touch, beautiful dribbles, positioning, aerial ability, finishing. You have to say all these things. The way he also, his playmaking abilities as well also makes him stand out and all that. So, 6 years out of the national team is something that maybe he wouldn't have hoped for, because for someone that he still remains one of the highest goal scorers ever. I think he's still in the top 10. He scored 27 goals before 2015, before he went into that international wilderness. Maybe if he has not had that break or that hiatus, he probably would have been somewhere around there with the likes of Thierry Henry, Olivier Giroud, and all other people.
Maybe would have even surpassed them.
Yeah, maybe, because if you look at
5 years is a long time.
It's a long time for someone like Benzema, but it's good to have him back. back. I saw Mbappe's tweet yesterday. KB and KM now would probably be leading the line for France at the Euros. And I think maybe if they had Benzema at the 2016 European Championships, they probably would have won that competition.
Against Portugal.
Remember they lost out in the finals at home against Portugal and all that. They missed the cutting edge that Benzema will bring. Maybe
what if Benzema says, well, you guys have done me not so nice, so I'm not accepting this?
No, I saw his tweet yesterday. I think he was very happy. It's all over the moon.
Okay, 4 games in the English Premier League yesterday. Manchester United out by already relegated Fulham 1-0. But of course, in that game, Edison Cavani scored a beautiful goal. I'm sure it's going to be in contention for goal of the season. Southampton defeated by Leeds United 2-0. Champions Manchester City lost to Brighton and Hove Albion. It was a 5-goal thriller, but Brighton won 3-2. And of course, Chelsea got, a sizable pound of flesh back of Leicester City. They won the game 2-1, meaning that their destiny for the Champions League qualification is still back on track and right firmly in their own hand. Third on the table as we speak for Chelsea. We'll take a break for the BBC Premier League update. To be back in a moment.
BBC Premier League update from the home of Premier League football.
Hello, I'm Paul Serres at the BBC Sports Centre. It was a busy night of football as fans returned to stadiums around England after a relaxing of coronavirus restrictions. The newly crowned Premier League champions Manchester City threw away a 2-goal lead to lose 3-2 away at Brighton. City had taken the lead through Ilkay Gundogan before João Cancelo was shown a straight red card. Phil Foden doubled City's lead before 3 second-half goals turned the match on its head. Manchester City's Champions League final opponents Chelsea beats Leicester City 2-1 in the Premier League thanks to goals from Antonio Rudiger and Jorginho. Thomas Tuchel's side are up to third in the table above Leicester, who beat them in the final of the FA Cup at the weekend. Leeds United scored 2 late goals through Patrick Bamford and Tyler Roberts to beat Southampton 2-0 at St Mary's. And Manchester United were held to a 1-1 draw by already relegated Fulham at Old Trafford. Edinson Cavani continued his excellent recent form with a goal early on before Joe Bryan equalised for Scott Parker's side after the break. Crystal Palace manager Roy Hodgson will leave the club when his contract expires at the end of the season. The 73-year-old former England boss said the time was right to step away from top-flight football, and he looks back on his time with Palace with pride.
Each year has been a challenge. Each year has been a tough one for us to compete against teams sometimes who certainly on paper look a lot stronger than us. But to keep ourselves away from the relegation zone during that period of time, if we discount those early weeks in September when I joined, I think that in itself is probably the thing which is going to stick most in my memory.
And for more football news from the BBC, go to bbc.com/football.
BBC Premier League update from the home of Premier League football.
Okay, there you listen to the BBC Premier League update. To welcome back, well, the home stretch of English Premier League, especially battle for Champions League places, alting up right now. Everton will be up against Wolverhampton Wanderers. Newcastle welcome Sheffield. Tottenham against Arsenal. Crystal Palace versus Arsenal. Remember, Roy Hodgson is stepping down at the end of the season. Not just from Crystal Palace, but from English Premier League football. That's what he said. He's 73 right now. And of course, Burnley will play host to Champions League place chasing Liverpool. What do you see in the final stretch of the season as we round off Man City, United, Chelsea, Leicester, Liverpool, and Tottenham Hotspur?
Well, I see. I think Chelsea have sealed it. With that win yesterday was an all-important win. So they've sealed the top 4. It's down to Leicester and Liverpool to fight for the final Champions League place. You look at that. And maybe Liverpool, they'll look at Burnley. Remember, Burnley ended their unbeaten run at Anfield earlier on in the season at the reverse fixture of this particular game earlier. So that becomes a big problem also for Liverpool. It could create a mental block. It could also serve as a motivation.
But Leicester's last game of the season, I think, is against
Tottenham Hotspur. Europa League chasing Tottenham Hotspur. So that is another difficult game for Leicester City.
Okay, well, we wish them all the best. We want Leicester to be in the Champions League, at least for the sake of
Kelechi.
Our brothers.
And Kelechi's goal yesterday made him set a new record as the only player in Premier League history to have scored on every single day of the week in the season.
Okay, Monday to Sunday.
Yeah.
It's the man for all days and all season. Thank you so much, Faith Adedeji.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure.
Yeah, thanks to Bosu Alayode this morning and Goke. Don't forget that 4 o'clock later today, it will be time for Just Football. My name is Tunde Olawuwo. Have a fantastic Wednesday and bye-bye.
You will come change them back to water. When the person with the thing say if you stop my shine for your